Having a meta in a video game can really affect how outsiders perceive it. While Team Fortress 2 has caused some issues during certain updates, it has survived through thick and thin due to its large pool of diverse weapons. The community game mode Zombie Survival, however, didn't initially have that luxury. It's come a long way since the start of 2018, when there were no true weapon balances to speak of. The strict meta during that time turned newcomers away, and players were ridiculed over the game mode's exclusivity. But after several changes, Zombie Survival has transcended into a new era, and the stereotypes for each weapon have changed quite a bit. Before we begin, although these stereotypes may be educational, they are entertainment first and foremost, and cannot represent all people who use each weapon. If you want to skip to the engineer weapons, the timestamps are in the description. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to pretend we know everything all over again. The stock bone saw, unchanged from the base game. It has stood strong during these trying times, and I'll repeat this stereotype here for your benefit. Medics that have sworn by this weapon know that it deals the highest damage per second of all their melees. They're also quite efficient at running into bases and air strafing to avoid gunfire, unless they're wearing common cosmetics or none at all. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
You're not allowed to say that. Did you just claim that Zombie Survival is more inclusive than before? Then you can't just judge people out of the blue. That makes you a hypocrite.
Okay then, Jack6, answer this for me. Do you constantly check everybody's profiles and stat pages just to prove their true skill level?
No, that's a waste of time.
Exactly. People don't like researching. All they want to do is zone out and play some TF2. Cosmetics are just the easiest metric to assess.
Whatever, you're a moderator of Rushy servers. You're not allowed to have opinions about this. I'll come up with something else to argue with you about, just you wait. You can't get away with making this scum of a video twice!
Pause here if you want to read some quick stereotypes about specific reskins. The Uber Saw is as widely used as the Bone Saw, mainly by people that have come directly from normal gameplay and haven't bothered to switch their weapons. Uber Saw users are most commonly seen spamming the taunt kill outside of engineer bases. It's such a powerful move when it lands, and so too is the adrenaline rush you get from seeing a fresh engineer corpse being pulled towards you. Additionally, you get 10 extra health with every successful hit, giving the Uber Saw a more aggressive playstyle than the other melees, which probably means the people that use it are just as aggressive themselves. I mean, if some of these medics are willing to stand directly in the line of fire and get shot over and over, you have to assume that they have a few screws loose.
One weapon that's always gotten the short end of the stick in TF2 is the Vitasaur, and such you don't see many people using it. Zombie survival players that decide to try it, however, will find that it does extra damage to buildings at the cost of less health. This makes it a support weapon similar to the Ubersaur, requiring other medics to distract defending engineers, but outside these moments, Vitasaur medics are incredibly fragile and tend to run away from danger faster than others. They don't want to avoid confrontation altogether, but they'd rather a consensus be reached by their team before participating. Oh wait, that's just politics. Let's not talk about this any longer.
It's been said before that Bonesaw medics are the unsung heroes of zombie survival, but all they have is experience and not necessarily humility. We should actually reserve that prestige for amputator users. If you've got an amputator medic on your team supporting you, respect them and protect them. They are saints through and through, sacrificing their own sanity just to decrease your chances of losing. It doesn't matter if they're leading the charge or sitting on the sidelines, all healing taunts from these medics are to be cherished. And now that they're marked for death while taunting, they need all the protection they can get. Don't let these innocent souls be corrupted by the dark side.
The Solemn Vow is the perfect melee weapon for that one medic that doesn't want any help. The enemy health display means that they can focus on an individual enemy rather than a group, even if it makes them less effective at dealing with them. In order to account for that decreased efficiency, the Solemn Vow allows the medic to take less knockback from engineers. This means Solemn Vow medics survive more risk-taking than most other players. While this is a good thing, the overconfidence it instills in them could be damaging. If you spot a medic using the Solemn Vow in the wild, do your best to rush in with them and don't let their confidence go to waste.
Thank you for that. That covers all the medic weapons as of current times. We'll now be moving on to the engineer section of this video, which will be much longer by virtue of having more weapons. As was the case last time, these weapons will be sorted by their slots. Current meta weapons within each slot will appear first, then all other weapons using their order from the official Team Fortress 2 wiki. You might be surprised by the change in order when we get to the secondaries. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and kick off this list of primaries with probably the most idolized weapon in zombie survival history. The Widowmaker is a beast of a primary, and everybody knows it. A majority of the top zombie survival players use it, because if you're able to hit every shot or simply defend an area well as a group, you essentially have an infinite clip. Widowmaker engineers therefore wind up being extremely self-confident, and while they find this fun and don't want anybody to take away their kill streak, they are the most likely to upset impatient medics and be accused of aimbot. It's been made a lot harder to become great with the Widowmaker, because it uses more metal per shot than the base game, but it's still possible, and you might be the next to be worshipped.
It's not really possible to assume anything about such a staple in the engineer's arsenal. So many players use the shotgun for all sorts of purposes, whether that be defending, hiding, or running, and their skill levels vary widely. You simply can't go wrong with a shotgun pick. While it is able to attract a similar audience to the Widowmaker because of its sheer reliability, the weapon doesn't have the same stigma because it's so broadly utilized. The shotgun and the Widowmaker are just good all-around primaries. If you want to get technical, you could say that there's hardly any difference between how each of them are used, but let's be real, Jack 5 is just throwing words into the script and seeing what sticks.
Oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna have to play the meme clip just to make you guys happy, aren't I? Alright then. This primary used to have
no redeeming qualities,
but it's definitely in a better place as of this video. It's basically just a shotgun with half the clip size but twice the reload speed, making up for the original loss. You don't see this being used often, mainly because it's another weapon where people aren't bothered to switch after playing the base game, but on a lesser scale than the Ubersaw. Don't be deceived by that though, as these engineers can be quite crafty. It's because they're punished less when their clip runs out that they can surprise you with a sequence of separated shots, unless their aim is terrible to begin with, of course.
The Pumpson 6000 has gotten several major buffs in an attempt to fix its fatal flaws, and yet it's still used as a joke weapon. These engineers do not care about winning and just want to have fun. The issue with the Pumpson lies in the fact that it fires a slow-moving and large projectile that is easily blocked by other players and buildings. It only truly works if neither of those things are present, such as if a particular engineer is alone. There is no way to fix the projectiles, as how it behaves is baked into the source engine, but at least these people aren't too concerned about the viability of their primary.
Rescue Ranger engineers are most often seen as support for those at the front lines, but in order to give them more autonomy, the primary weapon has far more ammo, and best of all, you're not marked for death when moving buildings. Because of this, these players are able to switch between sitting at the back or front of a defense on a whim. The Rescue Rangers also, somehow, free of the problems the Pumpson 6000 has. I don't know why, but why should that stop us from capitalizing on it? These guys want to help, so let them help you. But sometimes they don't. Though they're a helpful asset, they can never be as loyal as amputator medics.
We may still grieve over the dramatic changes Valve made to the panic attack in the Jungle Inferno update, but with a few tweaks, it has been made closer to the shotgun and actually usable, what Valve tried to do in the first place. With a faster reload speed and no decrease in accuracy, the panic attack exists in a weird place where both die-hard fans of the original version and players just looking for a shotgun with fixed bullet spread can both coexist. Due to this, the stereotype ends up being roughly the same as the shotguns, but with a small dash of hipster. And to be honest, that is the best ending to this drama we could hope for. Whew. That's the primaries done and dusted. I've been hyping up this next section long enough, so at long last, let me introduce to you the current meta secondary weapon. The Wrangler? Yes, the Wrangler is part of the meta in zombie survival, and that must be surprising. How can a weapon that only affects sentries with ammo be useful when they never appear? The answer is an entirely new mechanic. It takes longer to pull out, but once you're holding the Wrangler, you'll run faster and take less damage. This is a huge improvement, allowing engineers to run from medics for a short distance, and they can jump repeatedly to get hit further forward. Engineers that use the Wrangler will stick with you until the last second, then carry on your legacy. As for the Geiger counter, it's just a show of the money that they spent to get it, but they'll cooperate with you nonetheless.
Now that the Wrangler is meta, the pistol and its reskins are just a thing. They're in a similar situation to the all-around primaries, but instead of being great, they're just okay. And that is what the pistol was designed to be. It's still the most used secondary in spite of the meta, because some engineers just need some extra ammo. It may be because they can't land their Widowmaker shots, die using the Wrangler because of bad ping, need to inflict chip damage at a long distance, or they're just new players and don't know any better. Oh, and strange farming is a thing. Let's just let pistol engineers be pistol engineers. Alright, here's some extra reskin stereotypes for you to look over before we move on.
Well, the short circuit is quite the topic. It used to be overpowered, then it became underpowered when the alt fire was removed, and now the alt fire isn't coming back, but the weapon is in a slightly better place. It's gotten a massive damage increase so the normal fire can kill things in practice. However, since the short circuit has a pitiful range, it's mostly used by engineers at the sides of defenses for support, if it's even used at all. It's also regularly treated as a last resort, so if you see an engineer using the short circuit, they're probably just memeing or having a mental breakdown, and it's best if you leave them alone. If they're also using the Widowmaker, however, they need serious help. Anyway, the engineer melee weapons will most certainly have clearer stereotypes than this, so let's start.
Gunslinger engineers are just as well known for those that use the Widowmaker, but for a different reason. Unlike the Widowmaker, the Gunslinger has been made easier to use, not harder. Instead of having to get 2 consecutive punches for crits, all you need to do is kill 2 medics. This is slightly easier than before, and allows you to store a crit, which is great for when a defensive position is getting overrun. This makes users of the Gunslinger prepared, in a sense. They're ready to give the medics their all when the time comes, for better or for worse.
Engineers that use the stock melee are most likely new or inexperienced, as most other engineers flock to the unique weapons, but that doesn't make the wrench and its reskins bad. A swing speed bonus was added to give the wrench an advantage like all the other melees. You could classify it as a mini jag, for it effectively speeds up construction and repairs without any of the downsides. It does suck that higher level players don't give the wrench a chance despite these changes, so let's just hope that this video will encourage them to give it a try. Also, reskin stereotypes. These will be the last ones, don't worry. There's only one reason that you'd be using the Southern Hospitality. You want bloodshed. You want the medics to suffer a slow, painful death. This melee makes that possible. If a medic isn't getting any assistance, you only need to hit them twice, then let them bleed out and die hopelessly. If you see an engineer wielding this, they've got you in their sights, and they're likely going to usher in your demise sooner or later.
While the wrench is a middle ground between attacking and building, you are dedicating yourself to construction and repairs with this melee. You can't get the fences up in no time with the jag, and that's great at the start of a round, but if you even attempt to strike a medic with it, you've already lost. The jag is so terrible at destroying medics, it's even impossible to outright kill with it when it's charged with critical hits. These players just enjoy overworking themselves, and corporations would kill for people as enthusiastic as that.
By now, you must be thinking that all the stereotypes are positive and everything is fine, but no. The Eureka effect throws that assumption out of the window. It comes down to the weapon's design, allowing for direct warping to spawn. As such, the players that frequently use it have no allegiance and only care about self-preservation. If even a single medic breaches their defense, these people have already begun to teleport away and leave their teammates to die. The worst of these players also build misleading and dangerous teleporters because of the reduced metal cost. You're pretty much required to have a medic stationed at the red spawn just to kill these guys. I know that sounds terrible, but that's the accepted stereotype. It's possible that with a drastic change to the Eureka effect in the future, its stereotype will improve, but I'm not holding my breath for that. In saying all of this, I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of people that are already angry with me. But since it would be pointless to lie about the Eureka effect, I've set up a battle for the ages. A melee-only fight, Gunslinger versus Eureka effect, and who better to challenge than the only other moderator inducted at the same time as me, Yellow Sage. The winner of this battle will take it all, I promise. I hope you're all ready. Let the fight begin.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight to the death.
Go on, get. You done incurred my wrath. You are a coward and a scoundrel. Now you don't look like a happy camper. Don't test my metal, son.
It just ain't right. Stalemate.
Now that was an ending, wasn't it? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these updated stereotypes. This video has been a long time coming, especially since the pressure of creating something to best the original video was overwhelming for me. Please show your support by subscribing, leaving constructive criticism, and visiting my Discord if you wish. As of this video, I also stream TF2 on Saturdays at 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard or Daylight Time, right here on this channel, so look out for those if I still do them. Like before, I have to thank every one of the guest stars and voice actors that helped make this possible, especially Dom for putting up with my horrible opinions a second time. I also must thank you for watching, and as always, this goes out to those people that don't know my ending catchphrase, I will see you all next time. Do you want to see your name in these credits and get exclusive stuff such as badges, emoji, and Discord benefits? Then click the top right icon in this video or the join button next to the subscribe button. Your support is very much appreciated.